everybody, this is Les Nesquick with FUX Radio, and you are listening to the Breaking Hyman podcast with Lori and Morgan.
Because it's a real, you need to get the whole story to fully appreciate.
Like the backstory, or do you need to watch the whole series to kind of get
It would be really hard for me to discuss it because the order that it goes in, like it's basically him remembering everything.
It's disjointed, okay.
Yeah, so like you know how it starts, he's at the police station.
Yeah, I remember,
right?
yeah.
And so like I don't know how much I would be able to determine what came from each episode.
Okay, all right.
And there's certain characters that you don't meet
until later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're critical.
Okay. It seems like a lot of TV shows do that, but
yeah. Well, this is. I mean, like, there's a debate right now, but the bottom line is this woman is insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, she has a mental issue.
I think that's a good intro. Speaking of women with mental issues.
Hi.
And introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
I'm Lori Amber.
That is Lori Amber, and you perform stand-up comedy around Lubbock, Texas.
I like to say that. I do.
Yeah, cool.
It's weird to say that.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but I have been doing that.
She is co-hosting this podcast for me. This is our first episode. We are going to brainstorm on names for the podcast. My name is Morgan Hyman. I'm also a stand-up comedian here in Lubbock, Texas. Not here in my living room, but...
Oh, don't lie.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I've been doing this a couple years. How long have you been doing stand-up, Lori?
Not a year.
Okay, yeah. I remember one of your first shows. Do you remember it?
Painfully. Well, I remember the first time I got on stage, it was just at the end, and I just got up there and was like, just said a little bit about what you guys had done. And
yeah, that's a thing. You always kind of shout out the other comics. That's cool.
Well, I have to. I don't.
You don't know what you're doing?
I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what I'm going to say.
That's okay. Referencing that's one thing I used to do a whole lot more when I first started. Because I like to make the other comics laugh. And there's nothing you can do more than like, Curtis, you fat piece of shit, or whatever, making them laugh. So that's kind of what...
Yeah, dude, like...
It's a community. Lubbock has a cool stand-up comedy community. How did you find it?
Brad Bogle.
Speaking
Speaking of mentioning other comedians...
He goes by Bogey on stage.
Yeah, I had to ask Chris Heiss that not that long ago when Brad was coming up. Yeah. And he was like, sign me up. And I'm like, hey... Also the tech rocker, is that? Oh yeah, the masked rocker.
The masked rocker, yeah, that's the
yeah. I think the masked rocker, last I heard, maybe had a horrible fate.
He retired. Okay.
I think it was a one season phenomenon, but you never know.
Well, he brought it back for like one show where he like gave me a little card. It was funny, but So and Brad and your husband are in a band together.
Right. This is like I feel like we're doing like 9 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
or something,
exactly.
But that's how life in Lubbock is.
Yeah, it is very incestuous.
Okay.
No, but everybody knows everybody. Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm like, Eskimo Brothers with you. I didn't know
we were going to get started right off the bat, but all right. Yeah. I'm glad we're open to this. Let's start talking.
I like the informal thing.
Who's your uncle?
Who's my uncle? They're all dead. No, I guess I have a couple of uncles by marriage. Was this their last known location? No, his last known location was Indianapolis.
Right on.
And I'm pretty sure that's where he died.
Well,
that's a sad story, though. Yeah. Let's not get into that.
So this is my first podcast.
You haven't done a podcast before?
I've not done anything.
Well, that's crazy.
The only time
I've done like 6.
I know, right? Like, I think about that sometimes because I do, like, you've been most helpful.
Oh, well, I try to be.
Yeah, and as far as like just sort of working out the system, and like
Yeah.
the very first time that I actually went on, so not like that first
At
night.
the open mic?
Yeah, but you had to tell me. I went on. I just droned on for like
Well,
10 minutes.
sometimes the hosts, I host an open mic myself, forget to tell first timers that we give you a light, and that's when you need
Exactly.
to stop. Because I am usually stoned at my shows. Durbin is usually drunk, and I mean that's
I mean,
not shade on
I
him.
know.
He's
No,
he's
if I'm
he's a
there, we
guy
all
who
know
likes.
I'm drunk.
Yeah,
no,
so I didn't know that.
judgment. I
Okay.
mean, no.
No, it's cool. But and then Selena, I think she just forgot to tell you that night because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure she was. And I was like looking at her, and I think she gave you the light, but I think you were focused on something else.
I was not looking at anyone.
Yeah.
I couldn't see.
Yeah.
I never see anyone really.
I was.
That's why I like.
Had I met you before that night?
Not that I'm aware
Okay.
of. Although I'm sure. You
Yeah,
know?
around somewhere. Yeah.
In some incestuous event.
Yeah, not literally.
I know. See, you started it.
I know it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I remember saying like Selena was shining her light, and I'm like, I'll help her out, and I was trying,
Yeah.
and I was like, there's a time limit. I said, there's a time
Yeah,
limit.
and
I felt like a dick, but I was
No,
like,
I was
it's
so
getting
glad.
late. I think
Like,
you had gone
I
on
needed
maybe like
to-
maybe a couple minutes
It
over.
was like 10 minutes because my friends were there and they recorded
Yeah.
it for me. So I have it. And
Yeah.
I've listened to it.
It's funny
a couple
how
of times.
Selena that's happened a couple times where she's like she won't interrupt them. And I straight up will.
Yeah.
Like it's funny though
Or
because
walk
I'm a nice
towards
person
them.
and she's like she'll say it. She doesn't like people to think she's nice, but
Yeah.
I'm like be mean now. Now's the time to be mean.
Right? Like, why are you being all...
Yeah. That's okay. I think it's because she respects other women.
Okay.
And no, it's not that I didn't. It's just like I think she's like there's seldom women up here, and I'm like I want to go. It's my turn now.
Right?
I may have already gone. I can't remember.
I needed to be put down, regardless of whatever else
But
was
you know what?
happening.
You know to look for the light now.
Here's the thing. I knew then, like
you
Brad
just-
had told me, look for the
Okay.
light. But nobody, and I hadn't thought to ask. I just assumed I'd recognize it when I saw it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like suddenly there was going to be a bright
like
ass
train track.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what I thought I was, but I didn't. So I just didn't.
Just a little
see-
cell phone
yeah.
light in a bright room. The
I'm like-
lantern, we don't have low lights in there.
I was
so.
like, oh, I guess Selena records the shows.
Oh yeah. I guess she's lighting me. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
For the video. Yeah, that was a fun night. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. I ever tell you about my first night doing stand up?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
Was it at Lantern? Oh no,
it was at Cafe
Jay's.
J. Yeah, Cafe J. So me and my ex-wife separated almost 2 years ago, and I moved in with my mom, and I'm like, shit, I don't want to be a loser staying home every night. And our friend group was kind of like very like they were friends with me and her, so I'm like,
Right.
I don't want to put them in a weird situation. I need to like get out of the house, meet new people. And I always wanted to try stand up. I had literally like probably 2017, 2018 had messaged the Last Hub City Facebook, and I said, hey, when are the open mics? And they told me, and I just never went.
Right.
And then I did again, and my first time was, I think it was like July 19th, 2022. So about 6 weeks before I turned 40.
Wow, I am impressed with your memory.
Yeah, well, I have it on my Facebook page too.
Yeah.
But a lot of my life events happen at the same time, and I happen to separate from my ex-wife and start stand-up the same
Right.
week within 3 days of each other. So, but
So
was there a catalyst for you, like there was for me? Were you like, I need to do something fun, or was it on a
all credit honestly goes to Brad.
Oh, really?
It's something
Cool.
don't get me wrong. Like it goes okay, when Jared started doing stand up, because we were Facebook friends.
Oh,
and
yes,
so I was
Jared Harper.
The Jared Harper.
R.I.P. I never actually knew him. I saw him perform once, but I never actually met the guy.
I never saw him perform live.
So you had the opposite. But he was a friend of
But,
yours?
yes, he was a barback. We're doing the string. This is our own string.
Oh, yeah,
theory
yeah.
Stuff.
Sure, yeah. The 6 degrees.
Jared Harper was a barback for my husband, Andres, back when he was managing a club here in town.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And-
I knew he was a bartender and stuff.
Yeah,
Jared.
and Jared was a baby. Like,
Yeah.
Because this would have been like 03, 04.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Was he doing stand-up back then?
No.
No, you just
Nobody
knew him.
here was doing stand-up.
Oh, yeah, no,
back
you're right.
then.
Because, yeah, Laugh Hub City,
It
I
was
think,
a-
goes back like 8-9 years, something like
Yeah,
that.
it was a comedy desert as far as I knew.
Yeah.
And like I mean, I guess our listeners don't, but I'm older than a lot of the comics. Not
What? Get
by
out of here.
a little bit. And
I thought you were like 17 with that raspy smoker's
yes,
voice.
right? I'm a babe in the woods.
Yeah.
Well,
you're not
that
too
would
much older
explain-
than me. I think
I'm
you're.
not
I think
too
we
much.
established you graduated high school 7 years before I did. So that's I mean, we're close to the same age.
Right.
Ish.
And exactly. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that we cross reference. But
Sure.
like I was getting out of high school when Froggy Bottoms was now just a funny defensive driving thing.
Oh, wow.
It had even stopped.
Froggy
having-
Bottoms
That was-
comedy club here in Lubbock.
Yes.
Until like 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
I think it lasted
Like-
past the year 2000, but barely.
Maybe. And I
Yeah.
don't think that they were doing, it was mainly just the defensive driving.
Comedy defensive driving, which was a thing before you could do online defensive driving.
Because
They're
if
like,
you had to do defensive driving, it was a whole 3-day thing. Or 2
jeez.
or 1 or whatever.
I've
but
only
you
had
could
to
this
do it
one.
online or videotape.
Exactly, me too.
Yeah.
By the time I actually had to do it, we were already in the space age.